Now this might come a bit out of left field because it's historically something I've never really covered on my channel before, and that's of course the Prey series. Now I say it's a series, really it's just one game and a cancelled sequel, but it has seen a revival in this kind of soft reboot of the entire envisionment of what Prey is. And ever since it was first announced, people have been all up in arms about it because it's not exactly the Prey they wanted from the very start. It's not the Prey 2 that everyone was apparently craving, even though no one really ever talked about that game ever. Like seriously, when was the last time anyone actually talked about Prey before the soft reboot was announced? Now I get that there's probably an underground fan base for this, and that's totally fine, you like the games that you like, but really, was Prey all that great? I mean, it didn't have exactly a huge cultural impact on the way games are portrayed, so it kind of baffles me that this game had such a big following and that so many people are angry about it. Although admittedly, I only played the game very sparingly, only a little bit of a smidgen of it was ever actually in my hands back in 2006. I do like the word smidgen, by the way. It doesn't get used often enough. People start using that word again. But there's been a lot of controversy since the game was announced, and that's been very much a showcase since the new trailers have come out featuring both a male and female protagonist. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the YouTube comments from it, and I know that sounds like a thing that you should never do, but they're quite atrocious. They're more atrocious than normal, and I think they need to be highlighted. Now, these comments being atrocious boil down to basically three things that I've pinpointed so far. The first being that Prey 2 isn't actually ever going to be a thing, and they're kind of taking a new direction with the series as a whole, and people are angry about that. The second being that they've gone from a Native American protagonist over to being a white male or a white female, and the third being that they think that because you can choose between a male and a female protagonist, that they're trying to appease all the SJW audience. Now I think that third one got kind of mixed in there because of people's other emotions, and we're going to go through that as we read out some of these comments. So the first comment of note that I've found since going over to that comment page was from Steve D, who says this game is just raping the memory of the original Prey. Drop the title immediately, and you're probably going to notice a few more of these in here. They are basically people asking them to not call the game Prey because it doesn't remind them of the original title. Now I understand that you might not like the idea that they're remaking a game in a different image, but to be honest, is it really that big a deal? This doesn't devalue anything about the original game. In fact, it just kind of expands on the lineage and takes it in a different direction, and I understand why you may not like the direction it's going into, but there's no real reason to ask for it not to be called Prey if it takes place in the same universe. Like, it doesn't rape the memory of it. You still have your memories, and no one can take that away from you, especially not a game that's released 10 years after the original. I hate you, you hear me? Bring back the bounty hunter, damn it! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation, you got the picture. This is another thing that I've noticed as well. People are very angry you don't get to play a space bounty hunter, which I do think would be really cool, by the way. I'm not discounting that criticism at all, but when you write out a comment like that, what do you think is gonna get done? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And the weird thing is, too, when you think about Prey, like when it released, that was back in 2006. So if you think about like when most people would buy a game like that, like what the life cycle of a game like Prey would be probably 2 years. So between 2006 and 2008 is probably when most of those purchases happened. If that game came out around that time and you were just at that point between like 6 and 8 or whatever, so we kind of follow that logic, then 10 years later, the people that played that game originally would have to be at least 16 to 18 years old, like at least. So that means that someone who's at least 16 years old or higher is making comments like this. There's nothing else there, I just want to point that out. I'm gonna sprinkle a few good ones in here as well, because not every comment is terrible, not every commenter is terrible. So this one says, female protagonist option, you have my attention. Good, I mean, come on, that's fine. Having more options in games is the right attitude to have, so good for you. This game will end up killing Arcane and cause Bethesda to lose a lot. Ditch this and make a true Prey sequel, not System Shock 3 or Alien vs. Predator 4. I mean, I doubt it's going to kill Arcane. I mean, Dishonored's a very popular franchise. They're backed by Bethesda, which has a lot of money. This seems like a very competently made game. I mean, this is like that thing where people don't like things, so they instantly think that it's not going to be successful, but really, it's like your opinion isn't automatically the opinion of everyone else's, and then you obviously think that your opinion is better than everyone else's because you think that your opinion is that they need to make a Prey sequel and not other games like System Shock 3 or Alien vs. Predator 4, which either have a very similar or even a larger fan base than the game that you want made. Good trailer, but hoping the female voice actor is better in final game because she sounded kind of bad here, in my opinion. Yep, that's totally fine. I mean, that's actually a good comment. That's some good criticism, you know. It's constructive. It doesn't yell at anyone specifically. And considering it's from an account called Anime Girl Amy, I'm quite surprised. So good job. Again, good comment. Now with this one, I'm quite aware that it's entirely possible this is a trolling comment. Like, I'm not under any illusions of it not being a possibility here. Basically, this one blames feminazis and SJWs who aren't going to buy the game anyways, because only games, and this is a quote, such defective people play is non-games like Candy Crush. Candy Crush is a game, actually. You might not like it, but it still qualifies as a game. Pong is a game. In fact, most games more resembled something like Candy Crush before they ever did with games like Prey. And now I won't buy the game either because I'm not giving money to people who abandon their original artistic vision just to appease non-gamer leftist scum. And again, like, this could be a troll comment, but like, he's angry because they took their artistic vision in a new direction, and because they have a female voice actor and protagonist option in their game. And with this female protagonist, nothing else in the game changes. You just get to choose who you want to play as, kind of like in Mass Effect or any RPG since like the 80s and things like that. What's next? Prey 3 infinite pronouns with a procedural gender generator a la No Man's Sky. You can put in a Walking Dead style decision system where you have to pick the correct pronoun for every person you are talking to under a time limit. I mean, I think that pretty much seals this one as being a troll comment, but what if it isn't? You know, like, I talk about like sarcasm sometimes on this channel and people not understanding how to properly get that over on the internet, you know, because if I don't know anything about you, you know, like I don't know anything about this, what's it, Nisitsu guy? Is that like an anime reference or something? I don't know. If I don't know anything about this person, you know, I've never seen their comments before, I've never seen them in person, and there's no indicator in the text that this could be sarcasm, I have to believe it might be real. Because that's really the only way I could take that. There's no indication of it being sarcasm, so if you want to do that, you know, either make it very obvious, you know, put like a /S or something, because there's the distinct possibility this could be real, and I just think you're an idiot right now. Not trying to be sexist, but I really think the male version of Morgan should be the only Morgan. Guys, it's okay. He said he's not trying to be sexist, so he can be sexist. It's okay. Now, look. There could be a very valid reason as to why he thinks that, you know? There could be some reason that actually kind of makes sense to him, or it could be a fine subjective opinion, and even this by itself is like an opinion. That's totally okay. But you need to explain yourself. You need to explain your reasoning beyond that, because when you just put this text in there, it doesn't make any sense, and it makes you look like not so much of a all-around accepting person. And it seems like you're genuinely trying to be an accepting person. You have your own reason, but you didn't go into any detail to show us why. So, like, communication skills, very important. I liked the previous vision for the game more. This bounty hunter gave me plenty good feels and ideas. How amazing would that game be? Please someone make it someday. That's a fine comment. I mean, it's not worded as well as it could be. Looks like he could not speak English natively, and that's totally fine. And it doesn't, you know, shit-talk the developer, doesn't shit-talk the product that they have been working on. It expresses his opinion, doesn't insult anyone else either, so all around good job, Daniel. Really do appreciate it. You remember when I was talking about sarcasm? See, this right here is a good example of that, because you can actually, you know, see that this is a troll comment, that he is being sarcastic, because he put something at the bottom. Yeah, sure, you have to click the read more text, but if you actually go and look, at least there's something there to show you that he was like putting an effort in to make it known that he's not actually thinking these things, you know? But do they have the other 61 genders? Now I get this one's probably a joke too. I mean, that one has to be a joke, right? I really hope it is. But it just kind of highlights to me how weird it is that people are freaking out over a male and a female protagonist so much at all. This has been a staple in every RPG game, even FPS titles, like I said, the Mass Effect franchise, for years, and it's very odd that people are so angry about it this time. And the only explanation I have for it is that these are the same people who are angry that you're not playing as a Native American bounty hunter and things like that. You know, they're angry that Prey 2 isn't a thing, but they decided, or they can't process quite in their brain exactly why they think that, so all of a sudden it's because they're offering different genders as the SJW's fault. Yay, more SJW kowtowing. Now, I don't think this one's a troll, I have a feeling that it's not for lack of any other evidence at all, but yeah, again, it's that thing where every RPG has done this for years. You're saying that every single RPG that's ever allowed you any sort of choice between your character and gender, even race, you know, is all of a sudden because of SJWs. No, it's about giving you the choices in your video games, right? It's not about giving everyone else choices, it's about giving you choices. What do you want to play as, you know? Do you want to go play Elder Scrolls and be some crazy-ass cat person or a lizard? Great, good for you. You can be a female cat lizard person for all we care. You can be a dragonborn female cat lizard person. That's cool. Or if you want, you could go and be a Nord, you know, the most Scandinavian of men, and just go and be the manliest man ever. It's totally fine. You can just do whatever you want. That's the whole point, because when people play games and they get more choices and options in how they play them, you inherently have a better time. I'm not even kidding, I found this comment right after doing that last comment and talking about Mass Effect and everything. Exactly. This is my exact point. Seriously. Thank you so much for putting that in that comment section. You have no idea how much that helped me. I would have bought the Bounty Hunter version of Prey 2, but I'm not going to touch this with a 10-foot pole. Way to go, Bethesda. Again, with this Bounty Hunter thing, like, people are very angry about that. I don't know how good the main protagonist or whatever in Prey was, but it seems like it really struck a chord with a lot of people. Now, the thing is, Shadow Stalker 3000, sir, video games aren't made specifically for you. Now, it's perfectly fine that you don't want to play this version of Prey because it doesn't interest you. That's absolutely fine. You're allowed to do and like whatever you want. But you're basically saying that it's Bethesda's job to give you the exact game that you want. No. It's Bethesda's job, and it's actually Arcane Studios making the game. Anyways, it's their job to make games that they think people want to play, not person. There's a plural there that we need to learn. We need to understand that people play games, not you. If only you bought a game, and that would give them, like, what, a $60 budget minus marketing fees to you specifically, so we could knock half that off. They'd have a $30 budget to make a game. How good do you think that game's gonna be? And believe me, there are some really crappy games out there, and I guarantee you they were made for more than $30. You can trust me, I do a series on itch.io. So those are just some of the comments I found over in Prey's comment section on the recently released trailers. If you want to go see them all for yourself, you can. I wouldn't advise that. That's some masochistic tendencies. You might want to go get yourself checked out for that. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like. I'd be super appreciative. And join my Discord. Go hang out with that community. We are doing some awesome stuff over there, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I got a bunch of new content creators in there and stuff. And I am Patty Jack. I will see you guys next time. Have a wonderful day.